Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classics / non-classics. This is episode number 552 and Doubleshot 458. Two Star Wars trades. First up is a crossover. The second crossover Marvel has done with Star Wars, and that is Star Wars Screaming Citadel. Written by Jason Aaron, who does just the Star Wars issues. But most of this crossover is basically all Karen Gillian doing this crossover. Yep. And the crossover is simply this. The one-shot that starts off the storyline, Screaming Citadel number 1, Dr. Aphra issues 7 and 8, and Star Wars issues 31 32. Now, I've got to point this out, though. The artwork. The artwork for the three books. First up, it's Screaming Citadel number 1. That's done by Marco Camachado. This by far is fantastic artwork. Yeah, this artwork is freaking gorgeous. Yeah. And I love it. That's Dr. Aphra. But when we get to the Star Wars issue, which I think is part 2 of this story, let's see here if I can find it here. Oh, and also for some reason, one of the characters looks like when this storyline first came out last year. Like, I thought this guy was Deadman from DC Comics. Yeah. I mean, pale skin, red suit. Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Deadman from DC Comics. Okay, here's a Star Wars issue. Great cover. Take a look at the piece of garbage that is the interior artwork. Oh my gosh, this artwork is so bad. And this is Salvador LaRocca. I have nothing against the guy, but man, this artwork is so bad. It's kind of like he drew the characters really well, and then when it comes to faces, it's kind of like he glued them on. It's like he basically borrowed them from the stills in the film. It looks so awful. The backgrounds look gorgeous. I love the backgrounds in here. And I like how some of the characters look in this artwork, but wow. Good God, this artwork is awful. I mean, the only person who looks okay in this artwork is Dr. Aphra herself. Yeah, she's probably by far the only character I could see who looks okay. Her and the main villain, this queen, this planet, basically, and the whole story about this thing is basically Aphra got her hands on a crystal in her series, so she wants to go to a Jedi. The only Jedi she knows of is Luke Skywalker. Brings his planet, hopefully get a chance to do it. Even though that this crossover is a bit pointless, but it's a fun little story. The writing is fantastic by both Jason Aaron and Karen Gillian. Now, here's the artwork for Dr. Aphra, which is this is not the artwork for the actual series itself. I should point out, though, that the artwork for the series is the artist who does the Screaming Citadel one-shot. This is the interior artwork for Dr. Aphra. This is much better artwork. Yeah, this artwork I don't mind. This artwork looks really damn good. I mean, the faces look fantastic. It's great artwork. I'm kind of like, okay, couldn't this character also, couldn't this artist, I don't know, do the interiors, do the Star Wars book as well? And here's the thing, Salvador LaRocca is still the artist of Star Wars. So anytime I read Star Wars now, I have to basically read through his awful artwork. I mean, my God, the artwork is so bad. I have never seen artwork so bad for Star Wars. And this is a problem with Star Wars. Up until Salvador LaRocca took over, Star Wars has had this thing where every story arc, we have to have a new artist. Like, every 6 issues, we gotta have a new artist in this book for no reason at all. In the case of Darth Vader, I think he went through, in the first fight, I think he went through 2 artists in 25 issues. Aphra has gone through, like, a couple. Why in the world has Star Wars gone through about 8 artists in, like, nearly 50 issues? Excuse me. And the Star Wars book only started publishing almost 3 years ago. Yeah, it's been almost 3 years. It's published over 40 issues by now. And still, the artwork is so bad. After this crossover wrapped up, basically, Aphra goes back to what she's doing, has another couple of story arcs. in the case of Star Wars, it has a series of one-shot stories, still with the awful artwork, and then it has the sort of tie-in to Rogue One when they go back to Jeddah, which is a good story. The storyline here is actually pretty good. Nothing against the writing by Jason Aaron and Karen Gillan. When they write Star Wars, they do both a fantastic job doing it. As far as I know right now, I think there's one more set of issues that there's a couple more trades I gotta review for that collect issue Jason Aaron's one, because Jason Aaron's off this book. Yeah, he's off Star Wars. He's no longer doing Star Wars. As far as I know right now, he's only just doing Thor right now, but he's also gonna be doing the Avengers for Fresh Start. So the story in here is actually it's a pretty good story. Not as great as Vader Down, but it's still a good story. It's just that what really took me out of the story is the artwork for Star Wars. It's it was really good for the Screaming Citadel one-shot, the Dr. Aphra issues, but Star Wars, wow. It's the quality of artwork went from good for most of the series to really, really bad. And I think with this crossover, this is where Salvador Roca basically started his run as the artist. And my God, like I've said, the artwork is garbage. But despite that, the story is actually pretty good. I'm going to give this book an 8.75 out of 10. The only reason why I don't give it a 9 is because of the awful artwork for Star Wars. Yeah, the artwork is so bad. But the story itself is actually really good. I do appreciate that. Praise to Karen Gillan and Jason Aaron for doing a fantastic job. Though, it's interesting though, Karen Gillan does pretty much all the work for this crossover. The last crossover was Jason Aaron doing all the legwork, doing pretty much about 3 of the 6 parts for that story. In the case of this one, which is a 5-parter, Karen Gillan does most of the story by himself. Jason Aaron just does just the 2 tie-ins. Alright, next up is this. Rogue One. Yeah, this is the adaptation of the film. But this trade not only collects this mini-series written by the awesome Jodie Hoster. I've met her. Fantastic person to meet. And also includes the Rogue One Cassian and K2SO special. That's written by Dwayne Short, Sorzinski. This guy is a fantastic writer. He's written books let's see, he wrote the previous one for Cable. Not the current book that originally was done by James Robertson and Ed Bronson. I'm talking about the book that basically was released from 2008 to 2010. He did that. He was the first of 2 writers for the previous Birds of Prey book for the current one. Let me think. I think he also did... Yeah, I think he did Rye. Yeah, he did the series Rye for Valiant. He's done a few other books. The guy is a great writer. Now, as for the adaptation, I should point out this cover is done by the awesome Phil Noto. I've never met the guy, but this guy is a great cover artist. It's something though that the most recent book he did interiors for was a miniseries called Humans Once Future King. Now, mostly put, this book does pretty much stick to how the movie is. I mean, yeah, there's some sequences totally out of order, but they do basically throw some stuff in. There's this sequence in here, there's this page in here that's actually not from the film. It's just Glenn Orso, who in the film was played by the awesome Mads Mikkelsen, who sends this cargo pilot off the sea, Saw Gerrera. And I gotta hand it to the artist. The artist does a really good job of recreating how the actors look from the film. Now, Mads Mikkelsen is actually one of 2 big-name actors associated with the film. The other, of course, is... I'm trying to think, what was the name? Oh, yeah. Forrest Whitaker as Saw Gerrera. And he looks a bit different. I mean, Jen Orso herself is played by Felicity Jones. And I got to admit, the artist does a fantastic job recreating her likeness. And like I said before, if something appears in live action first, then it gets a comics thing, I don't have a problem with the character looking like the way they do in live action. I do have a problem if the character appeared in the comics first, then appear in the film, and then basically having the character look like the actor for no reason at all. Yeah, they did this recently for Daredevil. I mean, mostly put, it proceeds pretty much the same way as the film. I should point out, though, Saw Gerrera looks completely different. He's probably the only character in the whole comic who actually does not look anything like Forrest Whitaker at all. I mean, appearance-wise, yeah, they got pretty much his look right, but here's kind of the weird thing about this. Okay, they gave Cassian a mustache for some reason. Yeah, I don't remember him having a mustache in the film, and he wasn't as clean-shaven. And Saw Gerrera had white in his hair. Now, luckily enough, when they see him die, you do see him briefly look like Forrest Whitaker. And I should point out, though, the actress played Mon Mothma from Revenge of the Sith did come back for this film. Yeah, and they also brought back Bail Organa. Yeah, the same actor from when I did the research on it. Yeah, same people. So, pretty consistent. Now, I should point out, though, that Tarkin is in Rogue One, and here he's in here pretty well, and this is probably by far his first Marvel comic appearance. And I gotta say, the artist who did this book did a really good job recreating the likeness of the late Peter Cushing. Now, the artwork in here is done by, for the first couple issues and issues 4 through 6, is Emilio Estalo, with also the first two issues done by Oscar Bazalia. The issue 3 is done by Palio Valenti. Yeah, I should point out, though, that when this film came out, about almost 2 years, a little over a year ago now, I would say almost a year and a half, Peter Cushing has been dead for over 20 years, and now when I initially heard about the CGI resurrection of him, this I didn't mind, because his death was not recent, unlike, let's say, Universal wanted with the late Paul Walker trying to CGI resurrect him for the Fast and Furious franchise for no reason. But Tarkin is pretty much in character for what he was depicted in New Hope. Yep. And they also, these images are not in the film. Yeah. Anybody remembers this this particular creature who hangs on the Saw Gerrera's pet? Yeah. Yeah, it's in the comic, and they show off images that are actually not in the actual film. But mostly put, it does proceed pretty much exactly how the films present these characters. I mean, there's a few minor changes here and there. And look, before Saw Gerrera dies, it's like, we finally have Saw Gerrera actually look like Forrest Whitaker. I don't get why for the first 2 issues they actually had to change his face for some reason, and then by the last issue, boom, he's basically it's like for issue 3, it's the best issue when it comes to how the character is picked from the film, because, well, they look exactly like how they're supposed to. Yeah, like Cassian, let's see if I can show him here. Yeah, him having a beard. Yeah, he was very scruffy in the film. There was no explained reason why I could think of why in the world they hadn't basically trimmed down to a mustache and a spot. I don't know why. Yeah. Oh, they do cut out one scene in here, which I'm a little surprised they cut the scene. It's, well, I should put this. There was a scene in the film where it's a quick little moment. It's like Vader's requesting Director Krennic to come to Mustafar. I should point out, though, this palace was originally supposed to be in Empire Strikes Back. Yeah, this was revealed after the film came out, that this palace, which Vader basically lives in, and they also don't have the sequence of him in the Bacca tank. Yeah, for some reason they decided not to put that in the comic. I don't know why, but yeah, they don't have him. They don't have him wear that for some reason, and yeah, they don't show that. Which that was an interesting sequence. You actually see him for the first time out of his armor, and I should point out, though, it's not the same actor who originally portrayed him in the original trilogy. The original man who portrayed him, it was a different actor. He was a British actor. He was a stuntman. Yeah, it's a different guy. He was a lot more muscular than Hayden Christensen. And one thing that I thought was a little odd, though, was the fact that normally when you see Vader's eyes, they're pretty much like black. But for some reason in Rogue One, they made his eyes red. I don't know why. It's one of the most bizarre things, and he's very shiny, not basically beaten up. Which I have heard that the reason why that Gareth Edwards did that is be consistent with New Hope because this film would take place before that. Overall, this is one great adaptation, and I highly recommend. Now, as as for the casting and KSSO special, it's just a story of how these two met, where he bumped into him and he reprogrammed him. They actually reprogrammed him, and it was a girl that was with him. She died, sacrificing to save their lives. It's a good one shot. The main series itself, it's really good. Jodie Foster did a fantastic job writing this series, and this is actually the first of 2 Star Wars miniseries that she was given. She also is given another series published right now. Just the second issue of it just came out today, and that's the adaptation of the Thrawn novel. Yep, she's the writer of that series. I'm like, okay, I get maybe she was chosen to Rogue One because she's doing a fantastic job, because she's a really good writer, and I still don't get why the last Ingrid called her a C-list writer. I never thought of her as such. No, I generally have followed her work for the past few years, so. Because he's not that big known of a writer, unlike people like Jerry Conway or Neil Adams. I mean, she is known by a lot of people. I don't get why in the world that he would consider her a C-list writer. I don't consider her that. I consider her a top-notch writer. But as for this, I give this a 9.5 out of 10. It's really good. I highly recommend it to people who are fans of the film and people who are fans of Jodie Foster's writing. I do own one trade that collects some of her work, and that's the first volume of Mother Panic. I have the second one on order right now, which should probably be at my house probably tomorrow. Yep. So that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which is episode number 253, and Doubleshot number. Actually, it's 553. That's next episode. This one's 552. Next episode 553. Doubleshot 459. Okay. But we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.